DBD has at its core two gameplay mechanics. The objective progression, which means doing gens and escaping, and sacrificing survivors. The other mechanic is killer-survivor interaction, which means interacting with the killer's belongings, like special items tied to their power, or totems, helping your teammates by saving them, and finally the chase. Today I want to take a look at the chase and give some basic info and tips for looping. There are two objects you will have in almost every chase that killers and survivors can interact with. The first one is a window. Windows are clearly identifiable and allow a survivor or killer to vault in. Note that some windows are harder to see on certain maps like Yamaoka. While the killer vaults a window always at the same speed unless specific perks are involved, survivors have 3 base vault speeds they can trigger before any perks are accounted for. Forming a vault locks survivors and killers into the animation and they can't perform anything else until the animation is finished. The slow vault. A survivor who reaches the vault location and presses the vault button without pressing the run button will perform a slow vault action. This takes the longest time but is mostly silent. When the game is quiet and with a bit of awareness, a grunt can be heard when playing killer, indicating that a survivor slow vaulted. This type of vault should only be used where you don't want to notify the killer of your location, as it locks you in animation for very long and makes it easy for the killer to hit you. The medium vault. A survivor who reaches a vault location at any angle then straight towards or stands next to it and presses the vault plus run button will perform a medium vault. This action is quicker than the slow vault and is roughly the same speed as the killer would do. When medium vaulting, you land at the other side of the window and you are vulnerable to a hit if you don't immediately make distance. It creates a loud noise for the killer from far away and up close. The fast vault. A survivor who runs for at least 2.5 meters straight towards a vault location and presses the vault plus run button will perform a fast vault action. This action is the quickest and pushes you further out, so a killer trying to hit you will miss. It also creates a noise notification such as the medium vault. When a survivor is in chase and vaults a window 3 times, the entity will block the vault location for 30 seconds, making it unusable for the survivor who triggered it. The second object are pallets. Pallets are safety objects that can be pulled down by the survivor to create a vault location for them, which the killer can't vault. A survivor will either perform a fast vault on pallets by pressing the vault and run button, or a slow vault by only pressing the vault button. The same pros and cons apply to pallets as to window vaults. However, pallets can be broken by the killer and are permanently gone afterwards. This is a finite resource and only a certain amount of pallets spawn every match. Some maps have by default more pallets and less windows, like the game. Some have less pallets and more windows, like Lyris. Now that we clarified these two core objects, I want to show you a few looping examples. LT walls. This is how a LT wall looks like. You have one T shape and one L shape. The way you want to loop these is usually from the inside to the outside, always trying to get the fast vault by running straight towards the window location. The killer will try to cut you off or try to force you vault in other directions, so you have the disadvantage on the tile. If you reach these corners, you want to stop for a second and check if the killer is still coming after you. This location is called check spot. You could see on the left side if the killer is coming around there, and also on the right side. Make sure to move forward when you exactly know where the killer is coming from. The same applies to this side. You can see through the window and on the right side if the killer would be coming around the corner. Use your third-person view to look around the corners and decide if the killer is committing. Shack is one of the more easier tiles to run, as it is a very strong structure with one window and one pallet. Run around the corner, and before you vault, check if the killer is actually following you or if he doubled back and will greet you at the window. Do this until the window blocks and you can use the pallet. Always check if the killer is still committing to you and if the pallet drop is necessary. On check you have different kind of check spots. You have one here where you can see through the window if the killer is moving outside the one door, and on the right if he's moving outside the other door. This way you can always react to the killer depending where he comes from. Use the windows and check to see the position of the killer. You can use this position also as an unchecked spot to see if the killer comes around the left corner, through the right door, or the window. This is a jungle gym which has one window and one pallet. The way that you loop this is always try to catch the fast vault on the window, make your way around to the pallet and catch the fast vault again. Be careful that the killer could double back and catch you while trying to get the fast vault. Try these check spots with your third person view to see if the killer is committing to one side and react accordingly. Filler loops have two sides, a long side and a short side. You always want to try to loop the long side for a bit before dropping the pallet. If you feel confident, you can also loop the short side for one cycle and then drop the pallet if you think you can get this done. Other than that, if you want to play safe, loop the long side until the killer is too close, drop the pallet, and continue looping. The killer now has two options, either break the pallet and give you time to run to another tile, or try to mind game it. While mind gaming the long side is completely safe for the survivor, pushing the survivor to the short side usually works in favor of the killer. While vaulting, check if the killer is committing to you, or if he doubled back. He might break a wall, or greet you at the window. Before you take any action, take a quick look back and make sure that the killer is still committing to you, or if they took a different routing. I'm trying here to make as much distance to the killer while still maintaining eyes on the doors. When you path way through the map, try to stick to structures with pallets and windows. If you're looping on a pallet and you need to drop it, try to make distance and skip the next pallet. This way you will always leave one pallet up for your teammates if they later need it. When you loop, you won't frequently chain tiles together. Chaining tiles together means looping one tile so that you can make distance to another tile and use them both at the same time. Chaining tiles together can actually create very strong loops that are hard for the killer to chase. The killer has one basic mind game at their disposal. They have a red stain and can manipulate the position of the red stain depending where they are facing. This is called moonwalking. If the killer chases you, they will sometimes turn around, hide their red glow and start walking backwards. This is so you can't see the red glow around the corner and would likely double back into the killer. A simple mind game a killer can do, on short loops, is to fake going one direction and immediately swinging towards the other. Bloodlust is a mechanic that gives the killer a speed boost after a certain amount of chase time. After 15 seconds, the first tier is gained. This gives the killer 5% more movement speed, or increasing the standard killer movement speed from 4.6 to 4.8 meters per second. After 25 and 35 seconds, the next two tiers are gained. Bloodlust is lost upon breaking a pallet, successfully hitting a survivor, using your power, or losing chase. You can also lose one stack of Bloodlust after getting stunned by a pallet. As some closing thoughts, let's take a closer look at this looping example.
I gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, Harkin. I appreciate it. Take care.
Another one?
Another one.
Three times in a row whiffing?
Another one bites the dust.